Yeah, no, we're going now.
Right now?
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of the Son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father. Good morning, son.
Well, hello.
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
By heaven, I think you're a worse fiend than your father. What are you gonna do about it? There's a monster afoot and you know it.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute. Are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
Minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Thom Lang, and you join us for minute 31 of Universal's 1939 film, Son of von Frankenstein.
Yeah, this was a big one.
This is a big moment.
We made our decision whether we're going to continue doing the podcast.
Yeah, this minute pushed us over the edge. We'll keep going, at least for a while now.
Something really interesting happened in this minute. Did you see this coming? Who could have seen this coming?
Well, especially based on last minute when they pretty much saw
yeah, we saw the left side of the room.
Definitively, what could there possibly be in this room beyond what we've already seen?
It seemed as if we had explored every corner of this room.
Absolutely, but no.
Turns out there's something else in this room.
You know, we hold on Wolf for an intolerably long time as the music swells.
Yep.
And then the camera pulls back to reveal.
You talking about Bela Lugosi? He's in the room too. We reveal the monster.
The monster.
The monster turned out to be the best friend I ever had.
Finally.
The final performance of the monster by Boris Karloff on cinema. Boris Karloff. Is that the answer you're looking for?
Basically.
Boris Karloff is the monster.
Yes.
But I only played the monster in the first three.
Made up by Jack Pierce, as he always has been, and wearing a fucking rug.
Yeah.
He's under a rug.
He was not particularly fond of that.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
Not a hairpiece. I mean an actual
rug.
Someone threw a rug on him.
Yeah.
Wolf doesn't say who's that. He just knows immediately.
He knows immediately who it is or what it is or whatever. Yeah.
I just want to, before we get into the Karloff, that's the only thing I have to say about it is he knows immediately who that is.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have seen him.
No.
But I suppose he would have heard about what he looks like.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, who else would it be?
Maybe Henry was drawing pictures like
see,
Whale did.
Maybe Pretorius did a needlepoint of him.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's reasonable to assume.
Oh, I now suddenly really want to believe that Pretorius lived through the destruction of the tower.
He lived to a ripe old age doing needlepoints of the monster.
Needlepoints of the monster that he would sell in the village.
Yes.
People love needlepoints of the monster in the village.
In the village, they're so fond of Frankenstein. He utters, what's become sort of a stock in trade in these films. He's alive, not it's.
True. Yeah, it's totally great. It's a great reference to the first film, which Whale did in the second film.
Right.
So we get to do it in the third film.
And I think it's probably the last time.
I think so. Yeah, but because thinking forward, Wolf's brother, fuck's his name?
Ludwig.
Yeah, I can't picture him saying it.
I can't picture him saying much because he's kind of...
he's very flat.
Kind of stumbles
and
through.
And Atwill wouldn't have said it.
No.
So I think this is it. This is the last one. All right.
So what we have here is you got yourself a William Henry Pratt.
Oh.
Yeah. Born November 23rd, 1887 in Camberwell, Surrey, England.
Did he die in Surrey?
No, he died February 2nd, 1969 in Midhurst, Sussex, England.
Sussex. I get my
Surrey
and my Sussex.
It was not a Surrey with the fringe on top,
though. Oh, you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
If
I looked into it.
told you Surrey was in Sussex or that Sussex was in Surrey, would you?
I wouldn't have any. I had no idea.
Maybe.
It's very possible. He was 81 when he shuffled off this mortal coil. His parents had some Indian ancestry in them, hence his dark complexion.
I did not know that. Both of his parents had Indian.
Predominantly his father.
Okay.
So I think his grandparents, one was Indian, one was English. And when I say Indian, I mean from India, obviously.
Yeah, not Native American Indian.
Not your Columbus bumble-headed Indian.
What do you...
Yeah.
It's not...
fucking idiot.
Dot Indian, not feather Indian, or whatever racist thing people say.
Yeah, whatever. His 51st birthday was celebrated during production.
Yeah.
The very day his daughter Sarah Jane Karloff was born.
Yeah.
There's famous pictures of them celebrating with cake.
Yeah.
And there's a picture with Karloff with cake all down the front of his rug. Not his hairpiece, but the rug he's wearing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems irresponsible, but whatever. Unless they had more than one.
Well, it seems in keeping with a lot of what we know about
the
this
production,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of ramshackle.
Yeah, Roland V. Lee's like, fuck it.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll say this. He looks like shit. No, I'm sorry. Jack Pierce does his usual great work. He doesn't look the same as he did 4 years ago, but who does?
Right.
But that rug is awful. So if you told me that this was that day, but he had spilled cake all over it, I'd be like, whatever. I hosed him off and they stuck him on the slab.
Yeah, because actually his pants look wet in the long shot. When it
really?
pulls back, they look kind of shiny.
That's
and
cool.
they're leather. Yeah, the costume, we should say the costume is completely changed.
Yeah.
The makeup is slightly different as well.
Okay.
The headpiece is a good inch and a half taller than the last one, which was bigger than the first one. So he keeps exponentially getting bigger until the next film when it looks like they went to Woolworths and bought a rubber mask.
Yeah. Well, they didn't. Yeah.
And they went to Woolworths and got an actor as well for that.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. I mean, he's we both love that actor you're talking about.
Absolutely do.
But he shouldn't be
should
in that
not
role.
have been in that role.
And
he should not have been in a lot of roles that he played at Universal.
Yeah, maybe most of them.
Yeah.
But what we're going to talk about primarily in years to come, that actor in the role he should have been in.
Yes.
He's great in that role.
Yeah. Yes.
Why am I not saying who it is? It's a tortured mess. We're not here to talk about him. When was he born? When did he die?
He has 205 credits from 1919 to 1971.
I can tell you the last 4.
Maybe not, because they're not quite in that order.
Yeah, that's right. I can tell you maybe the last 5. 5 of the last 6, probably.
Last of the Mohicans in 1920, he played Indian. Yep.
That sounds right.
Yep. White Panther in 1924, taking a page from Bela Lugosi, he's billed as Karloff Boris. Don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. Go figure that one out.
That sounds...
He wanted to use Ariston Olds, but it was taken. Yeah, the Bell's 1926.
Not Pratt William.
Nope. The Bell's 1926 is kind of the first sort of horror role, sort of this mesmerist. He looks very much like Dr. Caligari in the makeup. Behind that curtain, 1929, early Charlie Chan. The film that put him on James Whale's radar, The Criminal Code, 1930, directed by Howard Hawks. Plays
seen
Galloway.
parts of it.
It's a great movie.
R.I.P.
He's really
Peter
good.
Bogdanovich, who put parts of it in his movie. That's
true.
why I've seen
Yes.
it. And we're recording this not long before it
2
goes out.
days.
So, he hasn't been dead that long.
2 days ago, he passed away. And we're actually recording this on what should have been David Bowie's 75th birthday. Also, there's
Happens.
that. I actually had to I didn't get out of bed that whole day when he passed away.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That really blew you away?
Yep.
I think he died interestingly. He seemed to be dying and nobody in the general public knew it.
Right.
So he made that last album, and then you look at those videos and you look at what he was saying.
He knew
and
exactly what was going on.
Sort of a beautiful
it's a great
passing.
Great way to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, like a true artist.
Yeah. One last gift for us.
Yep.
Did 14 films in 1931 alone.
David Bowie?
Yeah, years before he was
14
born. No, Mr. Pratt did. Amongst them, Cracked Nuts with Wheeler and Woolsey, a long-forgotten and probably justifiably so comedy team.
I don't know. Sometimes this podcast feels like a dream. Cracked Nuts with Wheeler and Woolsey. You could just be making up all of this.
Oh, I am. I've done zero research.
Totally do that. See if anybody has anything. Oh, shit.
Just throw in some ringers. 5-star final.
Sure.
With Edward G. Robinson. Edward G. Robinson calls him the most blasphemous thing he's ever seen. He's just creepy as hell. So you can see where his career trajectory was headed.
I forgot about that movie. I watched that movie. Yeah.
You do? Yeah. Criminal Code is what Karloff himself says, well, I was in the play in L.A.
Okay.
And then they made the film, and he said, I assume James Whale saw both of those and was aware. Mm-hmm. And the character he plays is sort of a run-up to the monster. He's this sort of brutish thug in prison, and he's very good.
I mean, you see it even in Targets. If you watch
there's just
Targets,
the little clips.
The scenes from that are enough to tell you.
Graft from 1931. Frankenstein.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, apparently it's really good. The Coens and the Kellys in Hollywood from 1932, where he played not Karloff Boris, but Boris Karloff.
Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Is that the made-up one?
No, that's real. I think it's just one of those where they're in Hollywood, so they bump into stars.
Yeah, I suppose.
And he was freshly christened a star because of Frankenstein, and so he plays himself. No, I haven't seen it. He did 10 films in 1932.
I'm sorry, I'm just really sort of charmed by the idea of that, of someone bumping into Hollywood stars in the 30s.
Yeah.
That there's an appeal to that. Like today, we could go to Hollywood and make that, and we'd bump into people that neither one of us have any idea who they are.
Who they even are, yeah. Or give a shit about, yeah. Scarface, 32. The Old Dark House, 32.
Yeah, things are picking up.
Yeah, Mask of Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
And The Mummy. He returned.
That's a good run right there.
Yeah, I know, right? He went to England and did The Ghoul.
Another good one.
Lost Patrol, 1934 for John Ford.
You've seen that?
Yeah, I have.
What do you think about his performance? He's been praised and criticized.
Yes, I think it falls somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, he goes over the top.
He goes a little over the top, but the circumstances,
arguably, yeah,
and the character, I don't think it's out of character, or it doesn't take me out of the film.
It takes me out of the film.
Does it?
But I mean, I get it. I get that he's going there, but I just can't quite get there.
Okay. And maybe because I saw it fairly early on, it was on TV one night, and so I stayed up to watch it. And
that sounds like the way to watch that, not the way I watched it, which was watching a Boris Karloff, knowing...
Yeah, I knew nothing about it other than he was in it, so that was kind of a nice way to...
Well, and it's John Ford, so...
Well, yeah.
Can't lose.
Can't go wrong there. The Gift of Gab... Oh, wait, no. First, The House of Rothschild. It's...
he plays Rothschild.
He plays the house. The Black Cat, The Gift of Gab, which we pretty much deemed worthless. I've only seen the one sequence from it, and that alone is just worthless. So.
Yeah, it's worthless.
A little something called The Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
Yeah. The Raven, which is meh. So. And I know you seesaw on that one every time we talk about it.
The seesaw film.
The Black Room, which is...
You like him in it, right?
He's fine.
Right, that's what
fine.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. He doesn't do anything outstanding in it.
Yeah.
There's nothing outstanding to do because it's sort of a thankless role.
Yep.
The Black Room, however, he's outstanding. He plays a dual role, almost a triple role. He plays brothers.
Yeah, because he plays a guy who's pretending to be the
other guy. So, and he's great.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's a great movie. I like it a lot. The Invisible Ray, The Walking Dead, which later became an AMC series.
I can't believe you're just going to blow past The Invisible Ray and not
I'm not going to do it ever again.
Anymore.
No, he chastised me last time, so not going to.
The Walking Dead, still on the air.
It is. The Man Who Lived Again, Charlie Chan at the Opera, where you have to accept the fact that he has this beautiful baritone singing voice that clearly is not his.
Oh, really?
But other than that, it is a fun film. Most of those Charlie Chans, if you can get past the fact that a Caucasian actor is playing a Chinese man, they're actually a lot of fun.
And that's always true, right?
Well, yeah, I don't think.
I think is that the other guy?
I think.
Or is that one?
No,
he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it in that one.
Karloff is okay.
No, Karloff's not doing Charlie Chan.
Okay, but Warner
Olin is.
Okay, yeah.
I think once, like in 28, 29, an actual Asian actor played Charlie Chan, and they go, well, we're not going to do that again.
This is not even offensive.
Yeah.
What have we done?
Right. All the way up into the early 80s.
But I mean, we also blew past Fu Manchu.
Well, yeah.
Karloff's amazing as Fu Manchu. And we've talked to... It's hard to know what to repeat on something like this. But people who are new to the podcast, he's made up as an Asian person. But one of the things I've said before that I think is remarkable is if only the audio existed, you wouldn't even know he was Asian. Right. He just talks like Karloff. He doesn't do any... Well, I was about to do it.
Don't do it. I already had to cut some of that stuff out before. I don't want to have to do it again.
Okay.
He plays it very tongue in cheek.
Sure.
But he's not. He's not doing.
But not stereotypical
a campy.
Asian.
Yeah. He realizes this is sort of Penny Dreadful stuff, so he's having fun with it. As is Myrna Loy, and she's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's always great.
That's the Strickfaden. Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. We're Frankenstein podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be thinking more carefully, but
there is at least one really almost dare I say shocking sequence in Mask of Fu Manchu with where
you have to say shocking.
You kind of do because Strickfaden doubled for Karloff because Karloff didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
and it looks pretty unsafe.
Michael Allen, I probably got that wrong. One of our listeners posted on Facebook on one of the monster groups. Does anybody have any pictures of Kenneth Strickfaden from the early 30s? And I was not doing anything else, so I had the ebook of that Strickfaden book on my phone. So I found some stuff that I think is from then. I don't remember if I posted this one or not, but one of them is a picture of him as Fu Manchu, which is not the point he was right. So. But yeah, there's pictures of him. It's clear it's not
Karloff. Yeah. Night Key.
Fucking Night Key.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it before, but on the Scream Factory, those Universal collections, Tom Weaver does a commentary for Night Key, and he says he drew the short straw.
Yeah.
And, Mank wasn't available, and he rattles off like 4 or 5 other guys that do them. He's like, yeah, it's me.
Yep.
And Night Key is it's the film that was made during the quote horror ban.
Right.
It showed up as part of that shock package from the 50s that was still circulating in the 70s. When I saw it, I'm like, well, this isn't a horror movie.
Right.
And he plays sort of this doddering old man.
Okay.
And he's not. I mean, he was in his 40s or early 50s, really 50 when he did it, thereabouts.
Yeah, because he was,
He's 50,
that sounds
he's
right.
51. He turned
49, 50, somewhere.
Yeah, he turned 51 in 38. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an enjoyable little film for what it is, but it's certainly not a horror film by any stretch of the imagination. But it was packaged as one.
Is Targets a horror film?
In a way,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And is it a horror film?
In a different way than a lot of these are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty horrific.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I realized,
The situation,
the violence and all
is
that
pretty horrific.
But I guess I also think
It's a thriller, maybe more.
yeah, there you go.
Than a horror film.
There you go.
As is Night Key, although there's really nothing very thrilling in it.
Well, I was just going to say, just the presence of Karloff can give you a kind of
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're sort of conditioned
Yeah.
to feel that, I think, whether it's warranted or not. I mean, even in something like Taproots, where I think he plays like Tishomingo or something, an Indian. It's Boris Karloff. There he is. What do we got? West of Shanghai. This goes on and on. Do you want to keep going?
Yes, I do.
Invisible Menace. Mr.
He
Wong.
plays the menace.
Yeah, he does. Mr. Wong, detective, and 4 other Mr. Wong. Part of this strange thing in the 30s and 40s of having Caucasian actors play these Asian detectives. I think Lugosi did one. Peter Lorre.
Right behind you, that Doctor Who set right there where you can see Tom Baker.
Yep.
That episode, see how he's got like the Sherlock Holmes
got
hat?
the deerstalker
That
hat, yeah.
story is full of Asian stereotypes, and the main Asian character is a Caucasian guy, and that was made in 1977.
Yeah. Well,
some people find it unwatchable for that reason.
Well, when we were talking about Charlie Chan earlier, just a few minutes ago, I was going to say, even up to like 1980, 81, there was a movie, Charlie Chan and the Curse of the Dragon Queen.
What year is Murder by Death?
Oh, that's late
Like 80?
70s. That's late 70s, yeah. Charlie Chan, the Curse of the Dragon. Peter Ustinov plays Charlie Chan. This is 1980. I sat through it in the theater twice, only because young Michelle Pfeiffer is in it, and I was extraordinarily smitten.
I mean,
I still
she's
am.
not a young Michelle Pfeiffer anymore, and
She's
I'm
still
smitten.
spectacular, yeah.
Yeah.
Devil's Island, Son of Von Frankenstein.
This is a thing.
If you're going to say Lugosi or whatever the fuck you say, I'm going to say Von Frankenstein.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, good.
So when you stop, I will. The Man They Could Not Hang, Tower of London for Roland V. Lee.
Yeah, he's good in that.
He's really good in that, and Rathbone is really good in that.
Yeah, right.
And Lee does a good job in that.
Yeah.
So, and Donnie Dunnigan is good in that because he doesn't have a thing to say.
Yeah, I don't
He doesn't
remember
have any
him.
dialogue at all.
Okay. I
which
forget
is
that he's even in it.
perfect.
Maybe I haven't seen it. That's why I say it's good. I just say it's good.
I think it's one of Barsky's favorite Karloffs. He mentioned that
Okay.
at one point.
All right.
Black Friday. It's about the day after Thanksgiving.
That's not a bad, it's not a bad movie.
Black
but
Friday?
It's not a good movie.
It's
so disappointing. That's the problem.
That's the
with it.
problem. It's disappointing.
You're going to watch the Karloff Lugosi films, which I've done.
Yeah.
And I suppose the first time I saw it, that's what I was doing.
That's what you were doing, yeah.
And it was like, wow,
Well,
there's
same-
some really fucking great stuff here. And then you get to Black Friday, and it's like, ooh.
It could have been.
It's not bad.
It's not
fine.
bad, and there's controversy
Don't
about.
watch it. I don't like it.
I'll,
Controversy about the
casting.
closet scene.
Well, that nonsense, yeah, but no, the casting, because Karloff was supposed to play the character that Stanley Ridges played,
Okay.
and Lugosi was supposed to play the part that Karloff played. And for whatever reason, and stories vary as to why they switched around.
Reminds me of a little film called Son of Von Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Where Lugosi was supposed to play
Atwell.
Neumuller.
Yeah, Atwell's eventual part.
Fucking brilliant how they
Well,
shuffled
that actually worked out really well. Yeah.
Could not be better.
Man with 9 Lives.
Oh, yeah.
Plays a cat.
Yep.
Before I Hang, one of your favorites, The Ape. I mentioned it last time we talked.
Yeah, this is well, I suppose I should talk about The Ape. Should we talk about what we're going to do
Go
later?
ahead, go for it. I'll just cut it out, but go ahead.
No.
No, I won't. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to say nothing. We're fingers crossed, we're expecting to do a bonus episode that'll drop tomorrow. Today should be Friday, whatever the day is, and tomorrow should be Saturday, whatever that day that is.
It's the 14th today.
Oh, you write that down?
I do.
Clever.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about some Boris Karloff films. And the idea was that we were going to talk about the worst of Karloff.
Our bottom 5 or whatever, because we did our top 10.
And one of the best reasons why that didn't work out, in my opinion, is that I don't hate these movies.
Yeah,
so
right. It was hard.
I'm not going to just say
it was hard.
Trash
hard
these
to trash
films.
them. Yeah.
But The Ape is not good. It's not a good movie.
No,
but Karloff is great in it.
Karloff is always great,
He's
except
just always
Voodoo
great.
Island is the one time.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
I think he phones it in and he did the film because, they're shooting in Hawaii. I'd like to go to Hawaii.
You think that would be a big incentive?
Yeah.
But then the guy lived in, Beverly Hills or whatever, right? I mean, he did. He was,
not like he was in, fucking Minneapolis,
Minnesota.
In
he wasn't in
January.
Edmonton over the last few days.
Oh God,
It's
that
had
sounds
the
like it's
coldest weather
hell on
ever.
earth. But
anyway, The Ape.
Yeah. The Ape is.
We're gonna do The Ape minute.
It's interesting.
The Ape is one of those great ones. To me, The Ape is similar to White Zombie in that it's a movie that has Boris Karloff in it. Where when Boris Karloff's in it, you're like, wow, this is a Boris Karloff movie. And then when he's not in it, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Read Tom Weaver's entry in Poverty Row Horrors about it. Yeah, he's got a lot of funny things to say.
Say about The Ape?
Because it's typical Tom Weaver. He doesn't pull his punches.
Okay. So there's a show that they're still making called Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, almost exclusively, the movies are in color.
Yeah,
they're not
like
all that old generally.
In the 70s
Some
and
of them are kinda
80s.
old.
Yeah.
But back when the show was maybe a little bit more low budget on Comedy Central or even earlier, they'd just do whatever they could get their hands on.
Yeah,
and I
well,
really
they get these
liked
packages of films, and Frank Conniff, TV's Frank, would choose the films.
Yeah.
And he's apologized to the universe for unearthing Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Oh, I thought you were going to say there's one that he has apologized for, which he didn't watch it all the way through, called Side Hacker.
Oh, yeah, that
because
too.
there's a awful
really
rape
brutal
scene,
rape scene.
that he didn't realize. So that movie doesn't make a lot of sense when they do it because they had to cut that out. But one of the things that I remember about it is I love these just old black and white movies, and The Ape is just like this. They didn't do The Ape, but it's just like this.
No, but
where
they did
everybody looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's black and white, so that makes everybody look even more exactly the same. Everybody has to wear a hat because it's 1940.
The 40s. Yeah.
And so you have no idea who anybody is. Yeah. Everybody talks exactly the same. And it's just so bad.
Like they did like The Corpse Vanishes and things like that. They did a couple Lugosi's.
I remember, I guess the reason I bring up Mystery Science Theater, there's one, and I don't even know which one it is, but there's two guys get in a fight. The whole time they're just talking about
who's who. Yeah.
I have no idea who either one of these guys are. They look exactly the same. Yeah. Every man in 1940 had to wear exactly the same thing. They had to look exactly
double-breasted
the same.
suit and the fedora. Yeah. Well, and the reason they kept the hats on is for continuity.
Okay.
Because if they in a fight, if the hat fell off and they didn't realize, and then so there wasn't a continuity error. Well, his hat fell off, but it's back on his head.
We got one rule, boys.
Yep. Keep those hats on at all costs. We got to get this thing in the can and out by Friday. Come on, keep those hats on.
Meanwhile, Karloff's acting is his socks off. He has a good death scene in there.
He's got a great. Karloff is great.
Yeah,
the movie is pretty mediocre. The story doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, but if I explained it to you, you'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It has a point, sort of.
Well, yeah, and what it is basically a monogram Bela Lugosi film that Boris Karloff is in. That's basically what it is. Yeah. I think he owed them a couple pictures. He did a contract. He did the 5 Mr. Wongs, and he probably you owe us a film,
and we don't have time to make you up Mr. Wong. So here's what we'll do. We
Crash Corrigan's gorilla suit.
We found a Crash Corrigan's gorilla suit.
That's the name of this episode right there.
but the plot of The Ape. Oh man,
we're spending way too much time.
Long episode. Felicity's thrilled.
Jeff is tearing his hair out.
Doc
is making notes.
By. Jason listens at 2.5x.
Oh, is that right?
Corrected me.
So I'm going to really talk fast. Just screw him up so I can't understand what I'm saying.
Exactly. We should just release him.
I'm going to speed it up.
Just to fuck with him?
Just to fuck. I'm going to speed the whole episode up.
By whatever amount.
Yeah.
So here's the plot of The Ape. Karloff is a scientist who's a genius who wants to invent the COVID vaccine. He wants to cure a young lady. Actually, the lady isn't bad either. She's a young lady.
Yeah,
she's
what's
fine.
her name?
She's not good,
yeah.
but she's fine.
She's fine.
She's paralyzed, I think. Yeah, and she walks at the end.
Yeah.
So he's so committed to trying to get her cured that he runs out of corpses where he can get some spinal fluid. That's what it is. Yeah. So he and there's by coincidence an ape dies.
Yeah.
So he takes
the ape skin,
skins the ape, and goes on a killing spree.
Shades of Ed Gein. He wears the ape skin.
Kind of an ape or Ed Gein.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's amazing because I can't tell if you're supposed to know that that's what's happening. You know what I mean? Like if you're supposed to know the secret of the ape.
Had it been a better made film, that might
have been a secret or might have been revealed.
Had
it
not been shot on Thursday and released on Friday, it might have.
The characters certainly seem surprised when they find out the ape is Boris Karloff.
Well, and the one thing
at that point nobody's confused.
The thing I don't understand is like everybody in the town hates him already.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense because he's this benevolent.
That's true. The kids like come and break his windows.
Yeah, everybody hates him, and he's doing his best to help these fuckers.
Yeah, that's true. He seems like a sweet old man.
Yeah, and everybody
and
just
even the story of his life, despite being a serial killer essentially, is that he was trying to do something really amazing and succeeded.
Yeah, it's an odd film. You'll find out.
Okay.
With I think it's the second to the last Lugosi Karloff collaboration in quotes.
Right. So I haven't seen that one.
It's I think it's Kay Kaiser. So if your tolerance for that is
I saw a few seconds of it.
Yeah. The Devil Commands. The Boogeyman Will Get You. Which is he's fun. He's having fun with Peter Lorre. It's basically just them screwing around.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get Peter Lorre. House of von Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He returned to the role of. I don't know.
We'll see. We're going to see it about
true. Well,
8 years.
You'll hear us talk about it much more in 2026.
One of my absolute favorite Karloff films, The Body Snatcher. That's also one of my favorite Lugosi films.
So Karloff is magnificent.
Karloff is an Academy Award caliber performance.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorites too. There's a guy who's the star of that movie. What's his name? Who cares?
Henry Daniell.
He's okay, which I think is the only downfall of that film.
Yeah,
he's just okay. He's not bad, but he's not good.
He's slightly off-putting.
Yeah, he's slightly
which I think is the character, but I also think that's him because everything I've ever seen him in, he's kind of that way.
Why is this guy doing this?
Even in The Great Dictator, he's a little icy.
I can't even picture him.
He's von Hinkel's aide. I think he's supposed to be like Himmler or something like that.
Sure.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
But as you say, Lugosi is wonderful in it. Mm-hmm. He actually has a character arc, and he's probably got 3 minutes of screen time.
Right, but he's really good. Again, at one of those great little character parts. Isle of the Dead, both of these films were for Val Lewton. The man that Karloff said saved his soul.
Yeah? He said
pretty
that?
much. Yeah, he said, because he was, after House of Frankenstein, he was like, I am done with this shit. This has gotten ridiculous. It's a kiddie movie now, and the monster is a prop.
Yeah.
So, fuck this, fuck Universal. I'm not sure if that's the film, or the climax, or maybe Son of von Frankenstein, where he was asked by someone, where is the toilet? And this whole place is a toilet. As contentious as his relationship was with the Lemleys, they promised raises that never came, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
His relationship with the new Universal was even more so.
Yeah.
No fan of Jay Cheever loophole.
Yes. I didn't know when I would...
I'm going to hate this episode.
When I was going to mention this, but he says in the I know you like when I read from.
Yeah, that's great.
In the third one, I didn't like it because they changed his clothes completely, wrapped him up in furs and muck, and he just became nothing. I mean, the makeup, like the clothes, had become part of him. If you accept the convention that he lived or came to live, as it were, at the end of the film, after practically being destroyed, you could accept that he wore the same clothes to meet the script. He's pissed off. Like,
and that was in 1966. 1965.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Because
exactly
I have right here.
Oh, is that where that's from?
Castle of
I
Frankenstein.
was kind of wondering what that was.
Issue number 9.
Okay.
From it came out in 66, but the interview was conducted in 65.
So you printed this out in full color, and I can only hope that means you're giving it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because I have it.
You have the actual one.
Yeah.
This is, look who's on the cover, for Christ's sake.
Cesar Romero is the Joker.
Cesar Romero is the Joker. I couldn't be more
But
thrilled.
all you're getting is the Karloff interview. You don't get the whole magazine.
You couldn't be
But
happier.
this is where the line where he talks about take the mick or play it straight comes from.
Okay.
I didn't realize when we talked about it during Bride of Frankenstein that I was sitting on my shelf in my house, and there they spell it properly, M-I-C-K, where it's every other time it's quoted, it's M-I-C, which was my confusion is what he's talking about. The microphone?
That's a different word.
Yeah.
Pronounced differently, and
Yeah,
it's a different
whole
word.
different thing.
I, before we go into that, though,
So
I
anyway,
do think.
enjoy.
Well, thank you so much, but I do think it's amazing to think that he was even talking about it at all. The topic, right? Like these movies that mean so much to us now. Okay. So you say 1965? That was during that monster craze where people were
Yeah, and you had magazines.
Magazines
you
like
got Castle of Frankenstein, Famous Monsters of Filmland.
So it was during that craze. So some of it could be colored by that he's wrapped up in that craze too. So he's talking about it. But only a little bit. It's still I think really the sense I get is that he really legitimately gave a shit about the monster.
Passionate about it. Yeah. Oh, I believe so.
All right.
The Invisible I already did this.
What did you do?
I already did that card.
Oh, okay. The Invisible Ray?
Yeah, Menace. Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah.
And there was, it's unfortunate, but there was supposed to be a dream sequence, because Karloff is in it as a gangster. There's supposed to be one of Mitty's fantasies where he's the Frankenstein monster. And I've got somewhere, I swiped off the internet, a letter sent from Universal to Goldwyn, where this was made, giving them permission to use the makeup and use Jack Pierce to do it.
And they did.
And they did. There's photos that for a long time were sort of a mystery.
Yeah.
When is this? What based on is posing with his wife
playing baseball?
That's a different. Yeah, that comes later. Well, earlier. Anyway, but it was cut. So the film's in color, in Technicolor. So begs the question: would that sequence have been shot in color as well? And would we finally answer the question: what color is the monster? And I know what color the makeup was. What color was he supposed to be? Had Frankenstein been shot in color?
I'm, as a fan of you being upset about this. I'm just glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't want a definitive answer.
Okay,
having
that's
said
fine.
that, though, all but 2 of the Godzilla movies are in color, and people still think he's green. So what are you going to do?
Well, he is in some. Later on.
When?
Godzilla 2000, he's dark green.
Godzilla 2000, he's green.
I
guess he's a little green, huh?
Yeah, he's green. And
you said that, and I'm pulling it up in my brain, so now I made him green. It really doesn't matter.
Sorry.
But generally, he's not green.
No, he's like a dark gray.
Yeah.
Sort of a charcoal.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy meets Gruesome. Bud Abbott.
You're just saying words?
Yeah.
You got a whole series of cards that you just made up words.
Yep. Bud Abbott, Lou Costello meet the killer Boris Karloff.
Is that what that's called?
I looked at the title card, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
I'm glad. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful.
The Strange Door and
I've seen that one.
The Strange Door.
No. The killer Boris Karloff. There's some fun parts in it. It's a fun movie. I don't dislike it at all. It's just nowhere near as good as.
Absolutely not. But
Frankenstein. That's the one where he tries to get Lou to jump out the window and kill himself or whatever. Yeah, there's some fun stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got the actress from Meet Von Frankenstein in it. Lenore Aubert, who was the evil doctor. Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah, no, that sounds. Yeah, okay.
She's in it as well, and she's always good.
I like Abbott and Costello.
They sort of became a comfort food for me for a while.
Yeah.
Hold That Ghost, you cannot go wrong. I could watch that over and over and over again anytime.
Okay, that is considered one of their good ones.
A couple of oddball horror films that Universal made in the 50s, The Strange Door and The Black Castle. They're basically the same movie.
What's The Black Castle?
It's I don't know. I've seen it. I can't really even
All
tell.
right, never mind.
That's how much I paid attention to it. Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I don't know if I've even seen that.
He plays Dr. Jekyll. Eddie Parker, the stuntman, plays Mr. Hyde for the most part.
Okay.
Two films that would probably be on the bottom 5 Karloff films: The Island Monster, which I've not seen, and Voodoo Island, which I have.
I haven't seen either one.
Haunted Strangler is really good. Frankenstein 1970 is Frankenstein 1970. He plays Dr. Frankenstein.
Not Dr. Von Frankenstein.
No, not in that.
That's a different thing.
Corridors of Blood is pretty good. One of my favorites, The Raven from 1963.
Yeah, I need to see that.
You do. It's really fun. It's Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Karloff. The Terror, which sort of sprang from The Raven, because Corman had 3 extra days of Karloff. So we don't have a movie, but god damn it, we're going to shoot something.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty good. It's
well,
pretty
and
good.
how much of that is in Targets? Like 8
Yeah,
minutes?
like a good chunk of it is of his footage. Another film that he immensely enjoyed making, and a director he immensely enjoyed working with, Black Sabbath by Mario Bava.
Yeah, good one.
And he's plays a vampire, and he's great. Another one of my favorites, The Comedy of Terrors. You not only have Peter Lorre and Vincent Price at Karloff, but you add Basil Rathbone is in it. Yeah, and he's actually very funny, sort of spoofing himself.
Yeah, that's a great era. That's a great thing to even try to imagine, that these guys, Rathbone comes across as kind of stiff and serious.
Yeah.
Like always. And to picture him getting to that point in his life that he's like, yeah, let's have some fun.
Fuck it, let's have a good time. Yeah. Because he's in several of those beach party movies too. Not the next one, Bikini Beach. Karloff is in very briefly, sort of like an art dealer. Die Monster Die, which was also released as Monster of Terror, and the title of the story it's based on, Color Out of Space.
In German, it's called The Monster, The.
Yeah, that's right. And it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
A movie that's not good at all, but I love it dearly. The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini.
Okay.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I enjoy the hell out of it. It's got Eric Von Zipper. I mean, you can't go wrong.
I don't even
Harvey
know what you're saying. You just
Lembeck.
made up a thing.
It's got George Barrows in his gorilla suit. You can't go wrong with that.
I can't believe how much of this you're making up out of whole cloth.
Yep, just off the top of my head. Just
I don't blame you.
Delirium now from not having slept last night.
You've set up a situation in your personal life where you're doing a podcast with a moron. You might as well just make shit up.
Well, I realized that early on. So
3 years in.
I've been lying for 3 years.
Make it all up.
Yeah. Mad Monster Party. Of
course.
Rankin Bass. It's delightful.
Good
It's
fun.
delightful.
Really fun.
It's fun. The Sorcerers. It's actually pretty okay.
Yeah. I think I've seen it even.
Film we've talked about many, many times. Targets.
Yeah.
The last film he made.
Yeah. It is.
That's
right.
I should really stop there.
That's right. So for Patreons, we'll have more to say about this, but there's no question this was his final film.
Other than The Crimson Cult, House of Evil, Fear Chamber, Cauldron of Blood, and The Snake People.
I feel like you missed one. What'd you say?
Crimson Cult, House of Evil, The Fear Chamber, Cauldron of Blood, and Isle of the Snake People. Oh, and Alien Terror.
That's it.
That's the one I
missed.
There you go. Alien Terror.
Which was
They were
Invasion something.
Yeah, Incredible Invasion.
Incredible.
Which, yeah. The only thing incredible about it is that it was made at all.
Well, I've always liked the word incredible because it means not credible. And that movie is
not credible.
You know what? All right. So we're committed to doing this. I hope you've got a time because now we've been doing this episode is already
over an hour. So
2 hours, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, there's lots of TV, radio, records, books, comic books, and lots of wives. He had 6.
Yeah.
He absolutely refused to do the dialogue in the script, and really, having read it, who could blame him?
Yeah.
It's terrible. Just terrible.
Well, another reason,
So
again, why this movie is so great.
Yeah, the monster's mute again as a result. You read about the Furs and Mach.
Furs and Mach.
The changes to the makeup and costume. He was not a fan.
I mean, it's the worst. It's one of the worst things about this movie, I guess. It's a criticism of this movie that I can't justify. Ignore.
Well, I think everything about this film is bigger.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Right.
So let's make the monster huge. He's far more padded than he was in the last 2. He was more padded in Bride than he was in Frankenstein. But here he's enormous.
He's
so
enormous.
I think the boots are taller. I think everything about it is designed to make him bigger. Also, he's working with 2 actors that were taller than him by a couple inches. Lugosi and Rathbone were both 6'1",
Right.
and he was 5'11"-ish.
Yeah, so they got to really...
They got to really bulk him up.
Right.
And I think, this is sort of the legend of the monster. So he's sort of legendary looking. You
Right.
know, like I said, the forehead is far too big, far too tall.
Interesting. I guess that's never bothered me.
Added an inch or two to the height, and it just looks beyond credible.
Is it still collodion or whatever?
No, actually starting with Bride, Pierce would never admit this publicly, but he had Ellis Berman, who was in the Universal Prop Shop and did a lot of rubber work. He made the head of the Cane in the Wolfman, for instance. They took a cast of Karloff and it's a rubber piece.
Yeah.
So in Bride, there's some collodion and stuff to finish it.
So it's one of those deals where when they took it off at the end of the day, it was just pouring sweat was pouring out of it.
Yeah, and there's stories of that with some of the other actors.
It's very easy for me to look at this film and feel... Okay, so I think there's sort of two ways to look at it and go. I feel like maybe the way you look at it generally is, what a shame that Boris Karloff came back and this is what they gave him to do.
This is what they gave him to do.
I think the opposite of that is to look at it, and for me it's very easy to look at it and go, wow, I can't believe it. They got Boris Karloff back. Because I love this movie, and if they didn't get Boris Karloff back, all we would talk about is, well, they should have brought Karloff back.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's in it...
You're true. Yeah. So back to the film in question.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm done.
Finally down to the last few cards.
Jabbering.
He's alive! Yeah. We already talked about that. Well, I'll say this. Rathbone's great right there, because he really looks surprised at that hand moves.
Yeah.
He's startled. Yeah,
he's
great.
good. He's my friend.
Uh-oh.
He does things for me.
Yeah. So... I think I've said this before. My introduction to this movie was I could even probably find the location of the store that I went and found it on a shelf in VHS. It was, and I would watch it, and this was a movie that was just for me. I didn't even know it existed until I found it, and I loved it, and I watched that line, and that line was just for me. So, I immediately laughed at that line. Yeah. I loved that line immediately, and it was only something that I laughed at. You know what I mean? The whole world didn't get the joke.
Well, you weren't the only one, though.
Well, that's what's changed, and that's what that's one. Every once in a while, you'll learn a little behind the scenes thing that kind of wrecks it a little bit, and this one does for me.
Oh, really?
Because I thought this joke was just for me.
Just for you?
It's an easy, stupid joke. He does things for me. Yeah. Obviously, the monster's jerking him off with his powerful...
I have a list of what the monster
things
did
he
for
does
him.
for him. Okay.
Well, you want the quote first from...
Lugosi?
Lugosi never said anything about it. Karloff did.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
In the scene where Bella slowly tells Basil, he does things for me. And here I am, all stretched out on this dais. Well, we all just doubled up, including everyone on the set, the entire crew, and even Roland, who said he didn't mind the extra takes for the chuckles it gave us.
So, a big, big deal on set. This was the joke of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, this was like something that I found on my own. You know what I mean? It really felt like my little personal joke.
Sure. And, see, and I had already read this long before I saw the film.
Okay.
This was one of the last of the biggies that I saw.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I missed it when it was on TV, so it wasn't until Showtime. One of the show had a Monster Fest thing sometime in the 80s, and I saw it there for the first time. And so they must have shot it in a 3-shot, or tried to shoot it a 3-shot. And that's not working.
Yeah, because
so it's just a close-up of Igor saying it in the finished film.
So maybe bears. I mean, we are doing this minute by minute, so maybe it might bear talking about. He is referring to something. I mean, he's saying something without saying it.
Yeah,
he's saying. Well, we'll talk about it probably more. But he's he's not saying he opens jars for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, what he does.
So there is a reason for him to say it the way he says it.
He does. He details his car. He picks up his laundry.
That's right.
Makes his breakfast. Balances his checkbook.
No, he doesn't.
And occasionally does his picks up his dry cleaning.
Well, that he could do. He could swing out and from behind the tree and do that. I have a question for you, actually. Has he always been here?
Nearly always.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
I don't have any idea what's
No
going on.
idea. Yeah.
What is that? It's hard for me to even figure this out. Except to say, I guess I assume what he means is, since the end of Bride of Frankenstein. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, and the answer is nearly always. Which is like saying you go to someone's house and you say, "Have you always been here?" Nearly always.
Always.
What
I
getting at?
This is place of the dead. We're all dead here. I like how he emphasizes the word dead.
This is just fucking fantastic. So good. Love everything about this. No, you don't love it.
It's not fucking fantastic. It's great. Lugosi's great.
He's a fucking creep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's dead here.
Yeah.
He's saying,
he's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Disgusting.
He's telling Wolf, look where you are. Don't forget. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a creep. And you should know that I'm a fucking creep.
I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here?
Follow us on Instagram.
There you go.
You done?
Oh, I'm done.
32 years later, you are asking me about him. Now, who could ask for anything better than that?